Hi there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 235 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. Today we're talking about pain and the impact it has on our emotional health and well-being. And it does have a huge impact on our emotional health and well-being. All of us experience pain at some times in our life and at some and varying different levels and degrees. And how we deal with that pain will determine how emotionally healthy, how emotionally intelligent, how much emotional well-being we experience as well. There's different types of pain. We all know that there's acute pain if you break a bone, which thankfully I never have broken a bone. I guess a toe or something, but that doesn't even hardly count. But if you break a bone, you have immediate pain, right? Or if you get a concussion, immediate pain. Things like that. If we have an injury, a car accident. Acute pain is sudden and short term. We know it's short term. We know we're going to heal. We expect to get better, and we do. And so often there's a little fear and stress associated with acute pain. But we know that there's an end and a light at the end of the tunnel, so we tend to deal with it less emotionally than if it's other types of pain. Chronic pain and emotional pain are the other two types of pain, so acute, chronic, and emotional. Chronic pain is something that lasts months or years, something like arthritis, which is something I have lots of experience with. I've had arthritis since I was in my early 20s. Fibromyalgia, nerve damage, again, accidents that cause permanent injuries are often associated with chronic pain. People that are in car accidents, I know lots of people that have been in car accidents and have pain throughout the rest of their life because it's something that happens to them. An injury is not curable like a broken bone. Emotional pain is loss, betrayal, grief that can be as real to our brain as physical pain, right? And it will release the same stress hormones, the same stress chemicals, which cause us to be in distress. Pain alters our emotional well-being in 4 key ways. Number 1, it reduces our patience and our resilience, right? So when life's little challenges come our way, we don't handle them as well as we would if we were not experiencing pain. It's constant discomfort that makes it harder for us to manage the daily stressors that life throws our way. It makes us less patient. I don't know about you, but if I got a migraine, I am not very patient or able to listen to anything. My migraines tend to have light and noise sensitivity, and so usually I have to hide in a dark room for several hours or sometimes a whole day. It impacts our self-identity. People may feel that they've lost a version of themselves that they once knew. Who we are before pain and who we are after pain are 2 different people, and our identity does indeed change. A lot of things affect and impact our identity, and pain is one of them. Third, it limits our social interaction. Pain causes us to withdraw from relationships and choose not to participate in activities that we once loved, which increases loneliness, which increases emotional pain. And fourth, it triggers unhelpful coping behaviors, things like overeating, alcohol use, social isolation. All of them are ways to escape, trying to escape the pain. We do things that aren't necessarily good for us. Might smoke more than we would otherwise, etc. I've never been a smoker, again, thank goodness. So how do we break this pain emotion cycle? Because pain and emotion are linked, are definitely linked together in our bodies, in our minds, and in our lives. So number 1, same things we've talked about this year a lot, mindfulness and meditation. It helps to separate the pain of suffering by focusing on the present without judgment. Now, I will tell you, this saved me in my early 20s. I had been not diagnosed with anything, but I had all kinds of systemic things going wrong with me. And the doctors pretty much had said, okay, well, we don't have anything else for you. You're on all these medications, which it turns out the medications were actually interacting and causing me more harm and more pain than without them. And I discovered this by doing mindfulness and meditation and saying, yeah, here I am in a dark room, because I would have like 4-day migraines back then. I'm like, this is not going to be my life. And I definitely was isolated. I was missing out on all of the things that my friends in their 20s were experiencing. And I said, no, this isn't going to happen. And so instead of looking to the experts to fix me, which is what I'd been doing up to that point, through mindfulness and meditation and journaling, and deciding on my own that I was going to figure it out, that's when everything changed for me personally. So I am a huge believer in mindfulness, meditation, journaling, finding creative outlets, doing what you can. And my trick was focusing on the times in between the pain. Usually with pain, we're focusing on the pain itself, but that doesn't work because that just creates more of that sensation and that pain. But somehow I figured out that if I realized that I wasn't in excruciating pain 100% of the time, and I would consciously observe the seconds here and then the minutes and then the 20 minutes and the hour that I wasn't experiencing excruciating pain, that those became more and more and more. And so pretty soon I could actually, participate and do some things that I hadn't been able to do for a long time. Therapeutic movement, yoga, stretching, walking improves your mood and your circulation. Just moving parts of your body that you can. And you might say, well, I can't move my left knee, which happens to be true for me. My left knee will give me a hard time sometimes. But I find if I get moving, getting up and getting moving, especially with arthritis, the more I use my body and my joints and move, the better that I feel. Having support networks. And nowadays there's so many support networks, but I will add a caveat with the internet and things. There's lots of support networks. There's also lots of bitching, complaining, moaning, and whining and in those groups. And so if you are somebody that doesn't respond well to those type of posts and negativity, I went on them for a little while and I'm like, I can't be here. I'm not someone that can look at, ain't it awful? I'm never going to be okay. I want to kill myself type messages and be okay. So I do not participate in online support messages and things with respect to pain anymore. I do have a chronic pain group and a painkillers thing, but it's all positively focused on how am I going to do what I can do to make my life work. But support networks, and I put journaling here because journaling to me is one of the most powerful ways to deal with anything in our lives, especially pain. Creative outlets like writing, reading, painting, music, coloring, drawing, whatever works for you. Being creative is a positive building force in the universe. So it's a direct opposite of being stuck in pain. I always like to do vision boards and encourage people to do vision boards for a couple of reasons. Number one, it increases our mood. It gets us focusing on the future and the positive, reminding us that this too shall pass, whatever's happening with us. Although the physical pain may be permanent in some instances, how we deal with the physical pain is not permanent. We can always change that. And then finally, professional support. Sometimes we need pain specialists, psychologists, psychiatrists, physical therapists. They can all work together in a holistic way to be on your team of dealing with pain and managing pain and creating the life that you want. Let me share a couple of people's stories about how they transformed. I shared mine, a little bit of mine. Maya was in a car accident that left her with chronic back pain. I know several people in the same situation, but she turned to journaling, much like I did, and gentle yoga. And over time, her anxiety lessened and she regained confidence in her body again by being able to do things, by building up to it that she never thought she'd be able to do. David struggled with migraines for years. I picked these stories because I could sure relate to them. But he got cognitive behavioral therapy that helped him to manage the negative thinking patterns that contributed to his migraines, which reduced both his pain intensity and the emotional strain on him of having migraines. And nowadays, my son does a monthly shot in his leg, and there's all kinds of things that have come down the pipe since I had migraines all the time. That they use to manage them much more effectively than I ever had at my fingertips. So today, what are we going to do? What's our reflective exercise? Number one, think about one source of pain, either physical or emotional in your life. And maybe you're not experiencing any pain right now. Bless you. Send some positive energy to everybody else's way. But think about it and think about it right, or something from the past that was painful to you. Acknowledge without judgment. Name how it impacts your emotions. So maybe you were in a car accident, but you've recovered and you had acute pain and you had a lot of stress and anxiety and doubt and worry and fear that you were going to recover. And then it turns out you recovered much more quickly than you thought you were going to. So think about that. Pick one action today that nurtures your emotional well-being despite the pain, right? We can do things no matter how much pain we're in. We can do things to make ourselves feel better, and we must do things to make ourselves feel better, whether we're having pain or not, right? And then write and journal, at least for a couple of minutes, your thoughts and your feelings about the pain and about the thing that you did to begin to alleviate that pain. Any questions or help with this, something I have a lot of personal experience with, please ask. I might not have the exact answer for you, but I guarantee I have a resource that will help you get the answer that you need. All right, have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, see you tomorrow.